Hi, everyone. Good evening if you're in the UK, or good afternoon if you're in the US. Okay, so I wanted to come in here because there was a post that was made in the group about self-regulation and your child's self-regulation. And it was a great question. It really, really was, because it was asking about how your own ability of self-regulating actually affected your child's ability to self-regulate. And I wanted to kind of just do a little bit of deep dive in this, just a little bit here, and also give you a few concrete steps as well as a little announcement that we're going to be that I've pushed aside to the end of this. So here we go. I actually feel triggered but slightly ruffled when I hear the term self-regulate. I know that sounds really silly, but here's the reason why. Don't forget, I work with energy, right? So there's part of this in here. The energy of the term self-regulate, to me, feels like controlling yourself. It's buried in self-control. It's the idea, I get images of all of this emotion flowing up and flowing through you and bubbling to the surface. And self-regulating means, wait, how do I suppress this? There's just a little element. And by all means, I totally respect the fact that a lot of people might not feel this way. So I just wanted to share my own view on this. I feel that it really confines me if I go to look for my own process of self-regulation. It's if I have a stressful day, say, and my stress builds, I don't want to regulate myself. I want to balance myself. I want to make sure that I have the self-awareness, that I can be aware of that bubbling emotion and actually ask where it's coming from before I turn it down or find a regular balance or regular level of temperament. Okay, so this is why sometimes when the term self-regulate comes up, I kind of have to translate this in my head and go, wait, we're talking self-balance, we're talking self-aware, we're talking self-care. Now, it's amazing when you dive into self-awareness, self-care, and mindfulness and balance, that then that concept of self-regulating often becomes thrown out the window. It's like often you'll feel that you don't have time for self-care or that you don't have time for self-balance. To me, it's vitally important to jump to that area of self-balance. So yeah, on this page, you're not going to see me use the term self-regulate very often, simply because it feels like putting the lid on a pressure pot. Rather than turning the heat down and dealing with the actual pressure within the pressure pot, it feels like putting a lid on it in order to try to regulate what's in there. Okay, so saying that, let's shift that question around and make this about, does your system of self-care, self-balance, and self-awareness help your child with their level of self-care, self-balance, and self-awareness? And absolutely, 100%. 100%, but not in an immediate space. So my other little issue that sometimes creeps up in this question is that too often I see, and I even saw a few of you posting this in the comment, which kind of made me go, no, is too often it turns into, oh, if my child is having a moment where they are not self-aware or they are not self-balanced and they can't balance their emotion, it must be because I am not balanced on my emotion. I want to put this out there. 100% no. 100% no, because your child is actually still learning self-balance and self-awareness. So using yourself always and then burying yourself down in guilt about whether you're reflecting the level of self-awareness you want for your child and then using their behavior as a reason why it's not working is digging yourself a little bit of a hole. Okay, so here's how I want to kind of stretch this open. Okay, you need to stretch this open a little tiny bit. Your number one priority is to practice your own level of self-balance, self-awareness, and self-care. with the knowledge that the longer you practice that and you create that as your foundation, building block of your home, that you have a foundation in your home, that everyone understands self-care and self-balance, it becomes a vocabulary. It becomes the language of the house. It becomes something that you support each other with. So immediately that becomes the building block. As that becomes the building block, see it as self-regulating if you wish, if that really sparks with you. But still, see self-awareness and self-care as your foundation, starting with you. Then your children are going to grow up with a natural understanding that their mental health matters, that how they feel about themselves matter, how they can acknowledge what they're feeling and either come to you or take a step back and practice that self-care that they have been witnessing from a young age. Can anyone under 7 truly have the self-awareness to be able to find balance 24/7? 100% no. In fact, most 57-year-olds, 67-year-olds are still having days where they can't self-balance and practice that self-care. So we need to open this up a little bit so there's a general understanding that we're human. We are all individually human beings, and we are here to remind ourselves of what awareness feels like, to remind ourselves that it feels better when you practice self-care. When you find that balance and self-awareness, you can surf the waves that go up and down. So it's vitally important to remind yourself that this is all a work in progress. Okay? This is all about learning your own balance, learning your own self-awareness, being super, super honest of what that looks like for your children. And coming to them and saying, okay, so yeah, you know what? I'm fed up of flying off the handle and feeling really unbalanced. This is what I'm going to do. Or I really need to take a quiet time because my head's feeling really loud. These are all steps that lead to self-regulation, but more a deeper understanding of what self-care, self-balance, mental health balance, and self-awareness really looks like. Okay. It was an interesting thing that this came up yesterday because I had just announced the Grounded Family event. And the reason why I wanted to remind everyone to sign up for that is that if you are struggling with finding that sense of balance, self-regulation, sense of self-care, sense of self-awareness, you really need to sign up for this event. It's completely free. So this isn't like a sales pitch. This is completely free. And within that, you have powerful conscious parent coaches who are giving deep, deep insight into this. When we were talking about reflecting, I was reminded of the conversation I have with Leslie Potter in the Grounded Family event. And she talks about the reflecting that our children do. If you want concrete tools about how to communicate the vulnerability of not knowing your own awareness and actually working on that, then Nicole's conversation is like the one you need to listen to. So the Grounded Family, it doesn't start until August 30th, but still, you're going to want to sign up for it because if you were remotely sparked by the conversation that happened in the group yesterday, and you were looking about the conversation about self-regulation, then you're going to want to sign up and get the tools that are in the Grounded Family. I so wish that conversation had just happened like a couple of days before the event actually started, so you didn't have that wide gap. Okay. The other thing that I did want to mention, today is supposed to be the last day to sign up for Spiritual Kids. Now, Spiritual Kids is my e-course. I had put this on sale at the beginning of lockdown. So back in April, I had knocked the price from $127 to $50. It's supposed to end today. But here's the thing. After this conversation yesterday, I was literally just going, if anyone's looking at what self-regulation looks like, self-regulation, or emotional awareness, or how to deal with that rising emotion that a kid can feel with and express, and trying to figure out how to help them find the balance within those waves of emotion, then Spiritual Kids is the thing to sign up for. Now, I know that I haven't given very much notice because I've been really focusing on other things. So I am extending that until Friday. So you can pick that up until Friday for the $50. And I have been sitting all day looking to see how I could actually set up a study group, which I've been promising many of you for a while. It's going to be in October. I'm going to be honest. I have a September packed full of different things that I'm going to be working on with all of you, as well as clients who I'm going to be taking care of. So I'm not going to be able to give it my attention until October. But I promise you, as of October, we're going to be doing a study group on Spiritual Kids. But as of Friday, that price is going up to $127. So if you want to join me in October for a study group, you can buy the program now for $50 and then still be in the study group. Okay? Anyone who has bought it in the past will have access to the study group that's in October. Okay. So, yeah, okay. Grounded Family, Spiritual Kids is on until Friday that you can get it for this $50 sale. And Grounded Family starts on August 30th. These are prominent, solid tools on how to pass on self-regulation to your kids. Now, one last little thing. I hope you all know that you can reach out to me. I hope you know that I have spaces in my calendar that if you contact me and go, I really need to chat with you, or at least see how working with you looks like, then I can usually manipulate my schedule and figure out something that I can make a space to make that happen. You're not alone. 100% you're not alone in this. And if self-regulation is something that you're just going, oh, I can't do it, I can't find the time to find that balance. And Christina, you're out of your living tree if you think that I can meditate. Or how on earth am I supposed to find mindfulness or a moment of quiet in this chaos? Talk to me, okay? Hey, I was a young mom with 2 daughters, 10 months apart, on a home. We were pretty much in lockdown for 12 years. We have had stresses that honestly makes your hair curl. And finding that spiritual groundedness, finding that balance, making sure that we made the time to not only practice our own self-balance and self-awareness and self-care, but then help our children find the rhythm over time that they could balance themselves out and figure out what their emotions meant and listen to the indicators that their spirits were giving them and tune in to how to actually shift their attraction point so they're actually going to manifest. That was a 12-year process. And I have those tools waiting for you so you could easily sit down, have a conversation with me, and let me see the best way I can offer you those. Okay? I pretty much flow with this. I'm pretty flexible in different things. So just PM me, message me. Sign up for the Grounded Family. Find out what it's all about. Consider Spiritual Kids, which is all the tools that I used for my daughters and my son growing up as they were becoming more self-aware. And then within that, consider just booking a chat with me. Consider even a session. I often will have last minute rearrangements, or over in the breathing space, they get pay what you can sessions over there. There are always ways. Okay? So shoot me an email. Let's get some clarity, because I've got to tell you, I'm looking at September as launch 2020 month. I'm looking at it as this is actually a brand new year, and we are reframing how 2020 is going to go. September is all about new beginnings and renewal and resetting energy and charting forward in the path that you want. Okay? So let's get busy. Let's get working. And tell me what you need. Tell me any questions. I'm going to put the links all in the comments of this video. And yeah, I wanted to reach in. Okay. Love and light, everyone. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.